Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to Cruising with the Carsons. Check out that sunrise here on a Minnesota Sunday morning. Pretty colorful. Let's get on with today's video. All right, guys, we're going to get into double towing and you people that haul toys on a trailer behind your camper. Now, in some states, you can do this behind a bumper pull, not very many. In other states, you can tow a trailer behind your fifth wheel, but you need to check with your state regulations to make sure that it's legal to do so. The states it's legal to do so have limitations. So you need to check with your state guidelines and codes to see what you can or can't do. So what I want to cover today, guys, is how to properly anchor your machine to your tag trailer that you're going to be double towing behind your camper, or what we like to call a tag trailer. There's things that you need to know, because when I go back and forth to Arizona from Minnesota, or if I'm on the road recreating, I see a lot of people that don't properly anchor their toy down. Now that can look like a side-by-side, or perhaps you have an ATV, maybe you have a golf cart, or whatever lighter weight four-wheel machine. I'm not talking about doing this with like a Jeep or a Jeep rock crawler or something like that. Those you're probably going to want to flat tow. So this is simply for trailering only. So let's dive in and take a look at how you should be anchoring your trailer. Now, first of all, guys, let's talk about your anchor points, okay? I see so many people that will strap down to their front bumper, or they'll strap down underneath their suspension. Or in the back, I see a lot of people that perhaps will utilize their tow hook. Or I see some people that will strap onto the frame. The reason you don't want to do that, you guys, is simple. When you do something like that, what you're doing is you're compressing the suspension on your machine. You're pulling weight from the ratchet straps down tight. You're compressing your springs, you're compressing your tender springs, you're compressing your shock absorbers, so you take that travel out. What happens is you can't compress it tight enough. And what I mean by that is your machine will bounce. As you go over the road, we all know that these earthquake highways that we have monster-sized potholes and dips and divots and bridge transitions. So what happens is your machine will, on its own, naturally compress, raise back up, compress. What happens when you do that, and it's happened to me, when I used to do it that way, your ratchet straps, when you do that, when your machine comes down on the downward motion, your ratchet straps will loosen. The slack will come. When that happens, it can pop out of those D-rings or however you're securing it to the floor. So you get slop, you get play. That's no good. I actually 3-4 years ago on the way to Arizona had a ratchet strap that came loose because I used to do it that way. You ask, what is the proper way to anchor your machine? Well, I've got 2 ways demonstrated on my machine. Now, this is how I haul my machine. I have for years now. I have had 0 issues. This thing will not move even a 1/4 of an inch from here to Arizona, which is a 2,000-mile one-way trip. Now, the 2 ways to do so are through your rim or your wheel. See what we got going on here? We're coming through the wheel and we're pulling down tight onto my E-track. Now you can have D-rings in your floor, you can have E-track, but to do it this way, you want to come through your wheel in a downward motion. You want the straps to be as in line with the tire as possible, because that way it pulls it forward into your anchor point. Now in the back, I have in-floor style D-rings. These D-rings are rated for 2,500 pounds, okay? So these D-rings are actually cut into the floor. And let me show you real quick what that style is. It's these guys right here. See this? And here's the bottom plate right here. You see this anchor right here? Yeah, no bueno. Don't use those, and I'll tell you why. I had this happen about 5 or 6 years ago when I used to use the one I just showed you. The bolts actually pulled through the floor. Even though I had big 1.5-inch fender washers, they failed. When I was coming through Kansas, I had to pull over because I saw it in my rear camera. A strap was floating around and flying around. So I had to pull over and re-anchor to a different point on the trailer. These are amazing anchors. I've never had an issue with those whatsoever. So we've got through the wheel style or over the wheel style. Both of these methods are extremely effective. This machine, like I said before, is not going to move whatsoever. As long as you have good straps and solid straps, you want to use a heavier duty strap for that intent and purpose. Now this front ratchet strap, I want to show you, I love these. This is a self-retracting strap, so you don't have any extra play. This will stretch out to 6 feet. When you're not using it, it winds back inside of the mechanism, so you don't have to fold any extra strap over itself. Now, if you do have this conventional style, what I like to do is wrap my straps up, looping them back and forth until all the slack is out, and then I take Velcro straps. I use 3 anchor points. I have never had these come loose whatsoever. You see that? Those work perfectly. Now, next on the list, I go extra. I go overkill. I put wheel chocks behind the rear tires, and then I put wheel chocks in front of the front tires. That way this machine cannot rock back or forth whatsoever. I take a rubber mallet and I pound those up tight. I use 2.5-inch torque head screws and I run it through that heavy duty solid rubber block, and it holds this machine absolutely perfectly. No issues whatsoever. 2 other minor details, guys. Well, not really minor. They could be a big deal. I forgot to mention is in the way that you're strapping your machine. If you're going to go through the wheels, you want to make sure that you don't make contact with your valve stems. That could spell disaster. You ratchet that down tight and break a valve stem, you got a different set of problems. One other detail is when you're going to haul your machine, put it in neutral. You do not want that machine moving whatsoever or bouncing back and forth. If it's in drive, it puts extra wear on the drive components, the transmission, and possibly your belt. Now, one more thing you're probably asking, what's with these wood blocks? I have them on the sides of each tire. What these wood blocks do, you guys, is it prevents your machine from being able to move side to side whatsoever. So in reality, this machine is locked down so it cannot roll forwards. It cannot roll backwards. It is locked down so this machine cannot go side to side whatsoever. Now, one more thing, you guys, you want to make sure of is when you're strapping your machine down, depending on what kind of wheels or rims you have, if you're going to go through the rims or through the tire or wheel, you want to make sure that your straps aren't riding on anything sharp, because all that vibration on a long trip, I guarantee you, and this has happened to me as well, it will eventually wear through and cut that strap. That happened to me going through Missouri about 4 or 5 years ago. So I've had all kinds of methods used on my machine to haul it back and forth. I've had those cheaper style D-rings pull out of the floor. I've had ratchet straps come loose because of bouncing suspensions. I've had ratchet straps give way because of the vibration back and forth was cutting into something that was sharp. So those are no-nos. You don't want to do that. Now, a few other things to be mindful of, you guys, are your tires on your trailer, the hubs on your trailer, meaning make sure that they're greased and serviced, but make sure your tires are up to their PSI that's recommended. Always carry a spare tire for your tag trailer. Always tow with a backup camera so you can see what's going on behind you, because that's a long haul from the front of your cab to the very back of your camper. So you want to be able to see what's going on back there. Those 2 times I had straps fail, I caught it because it was on camera. So I was able to monitor what was going on. So guys, if you're going to double tow, just be safe about it, be smart about it, and make sure that you anchor your machine properly so you don't end up with worn or compressed suspension parts that are going to cost you a bunch of money down the road, and you're not having ratchet straps fail, causing a safety hazard for you, but more importantly, the people around you that you're traveling down the highway with. So, thanks for tuning in, you guys. We will see you on the next one. I'm loaded up for a reason because it won't be long. We're going to point that thing south. We're going to hook it up to our Paradigm, our Alliance Paradigm, and we'll be heading to Arizona. We'll take you along on that journey, but that's not until right after Christmas. We got a couple other videos coming out before then. So as always, thanks for being here, you guys, and see ya.